Hello everyone. Today I am here again back with another session, but this time the session is going to be very different and innovative because Jack Finney wants us to travel along with him. I'm going to introduce the third level written by Jack Finney, but before I begin or move on to Jack Finney, I want you all to think what is the most powerful creation of Almighty God. What is the most important creation that he has done which can travel the world in fraction of seconds, which can go beyond places, which can travel, which can any moment, any given time, it can have a bombardment of emotions, and it can have bombardment of lot of other feelings inside, and it can make castles of dreams inside. I'll tell you, that is the human mind. It reminds me of a very famous quote by Sigmund Freud. He is a very famous psychologist, and he quoted that mind is just like an iceberg. The tip of the iceberg that you see above is just the edge of it, the bit of it, but the entire content of the iceberg is beneath the layer of water, is under the layer of water, and you can't even imagine the depth of it. Similarly, this iceberg thing, it is like really, it strikes me and my mind off and on whenever I think about it, that we can think and build up castles, we can think and build up our plans and maybe execute it in seconds. Doesn't need much time. So that's the power of mind. Maybe to reach America it takes 17-18 hours by air, but in my own thought, your own thought, you can reach in seconds, microseconds. Have you ever imagined that you breathe in, you breathe out, you eat, and if you go by biology, you have salivary amylase that break down food and it goes in, and there are so many other enzymes, trypsin and XYZ, and the process is so complicated. But everything happens off and on. Everything happens one after the other. How? What controls it? It's the mind. So that's the power of mind. And I would also like to tell you, mind has two parts, cognitive and non-cognitive. Cognitive has your perceptions, your thinking, your innovations and everything. And non-cognitive has emotions. So these are two things. And you have millions, not even millions, I don't know how many thoughts in your mind. It is the mind which processes, the subconscious mind that processes and gives the information to the mind so that you have unlimited things to think about. Because in your subconscious mind, you have your own past life, your own experiences, your own things that you have explored throughout. So it has, a powerhouse of emotions, thoughts. So it is the mind that censors, the subconscious mind that censors information and passes ahead. So that's what it is. And if I come to this gentleman, that is Jack Finney, he was born in America and he was settled in California. And at that point of time when he was born in 90s, right? And when he started writing, he did not have much to write. He was just writing articles and stuff like that. But later in his career, that is 1970s, he became popular with his science fictions. And those science fictions had a lot of things, new innovations, which were ahead of his own times. He was talking about a book wherein he wrote that the character traveled back into his past. So that was much ahead of his time, and his books have been, made serials and movies also. So from there on, he became very popular and he was interesting as well. And this part is a beautiful aspect of his creative dimension. He has done it beautifully, and I'm sure you will have fun doing it. Let's see what we have in store. And All through, I have tried to give you the glimpse of the entire city through my PPT. And I also tried to tell you that mind can go up to places where you can't even imagine. It never rests, it never sleeps, it is always active. As I mentioned earlier, also, it is just like an iceberg, which is the tip can be only seen, and beneath that, that is the entire structure is underwater, and you don't even know the depth of it. So the mind that you see above, that is the iceberg, the tip that you see above is your conscious mind, and the layer which is below is the subconscious mind, and you don't even know the depth of it. The third level, written by Jack, is a beautiful story which has many undertones, and it shows you figments of imagination where people run away or shy away from reality. This story is set up in 1950s. I mean, he takes you back in 80s when the world has not seen the two bloodiest of wars, and it was all about peace and brotherhood and tranquility that they lived with. And the central character of the story that we will see and will get to is shying away from reality, and we get to know whenever a person is perturbed or paranoid, whenever a person wants to run away from the present, he takes refuge in his past, and that's what has happened in the story. The story has got many subdued undertones of irony which you have to see and keep noting down. The story revolves around the central character who was Charlie, and he was a happily married man of 31. Right? He had no problems with life, he was working well, but one evening while he was coming back from the office, he thought of traveling by a metro, and he went to the Grand Central Station. Till then, it was all sorted. He goes there, and while he was going through, there were just two levels to the metro station, but he landed up in the third level that did not exist in the real world. There comes the entire change or plot in the story. Students, I would also like to tell you there were just two levels in the Grand Central Station. There was no third level, but it was Charlie's imagination which took him there, and there he saw spittoons, people wearing derby hats, and their dress was all of the 80s. And he goes and sees there are very few ticket windows. There were just two of them. The lights were all very, very dim. The ambience were all very different, and it belonged to the 18th century. He could understand the gas lights here and there, and there were like no proper lights, and those gas lights were also flickering. So therein he realizes that he has come into a different world, and he wants to go and fetch two tickets for Illinois, and wants to go there along with his wife Louisa. And there, when he goes to the ticket window, he asks for two tickets, but then the currency that he given was rejected by the person on the window. The person said that this is not the currency that we accept. So he realized maybe it is a new currency that he has, and the older currency was with that person. So hence next day he goes and he takes out the entire saving that he has, and he goes to the stock and he gets the entire currency changed to the older currency. There he had to pay a premium also. He goes for a loss, but still he doesn't mind. Instead of $300, he just got $200, but that was okay with him since he wanted to go there. When he came back and he told the entire story to his wife was worried for him. So his wife said, why don't you go and meet Sam, who is your psychiatrist friend? He goes and tells the entire episode to Sam that day, that evening, I was coming back from the office, and then I landed up on the third level. Sam heard the whole story, and he said that when a person is unhappy and when a person is a victim of his misery, sorrow, fear, insecurities, lack of joy in life, then he gets into a trap of his own hallucination, and he termed it as waking dream fulfillment. That's the term that waking dream wish fulfillment. That's what he said. That this is the problem with you, and that's why a person starts, hallucinating, and he starts having illusion, and he forgets what is reality and what is a dream. So that's where your subconscious mind starts playing again. The story clearly shows and explores the mentality of a common man. It talks about time travel, and it also talks about that just like a common man who is surrounded by myriad of problems. He has n number of fear, insecurity, and even pressures in his life, and hence he tries to run away from it. Charlie feels secure in 80s. Why? Because there were no wars. The age did not see the bloodiest of wars and the repercussions of it, and hence he felt secure, he felt nice there and didn't want to come out. So hence he took a refuge in that era. Not only that, it also talks about the wild, or you can say the bold imagination of the author, that is Jack Finney, who was able to talk about time travel in his era. And people never thought about it. People never thought that we can talk of going back to our own times. So he did that. As I mentioned before, that Jack Finney explores the concept of time travel, and he shows us with the protagonist, that's Charlie, a 31-year-old man, the mentality of a common man. A common man is entangled in the vicious circle of food, cloth, shelter. He cannot come out of it. So hence in that myriad of problems, he is, hallucinating and builds up his own world of illusions, wherein he forgets to draw a line between reality and illusions. He himself gets captivated in the self-created world. The world in 80s had not seen the repercussions of war, disease, joblessness, unemployment, death. All these things were not there. All these things did not exist in the society. The society was much more peaceful and serene. So Charlie wanted to take a refuge in that world, which made him feel more secure, and hence he did not want to come back to this world of his. This story makes me conclude that we human beings are vulnerable creatures. We can't make peace with unpleasant things around. For us, it's very difficult to absorb the negativities existing around. So hence we want a smart and peaceful refuge from all these things. We feel happy to be a part of the world which is much more serene, peaceful, and away from all these nitty-gritties of life, away from all the hustle and bustle and cacophony that exist here. So we want to take a refuge in a peaceful place where these things doesn't exist, and that's what Charlie did. And Jack has been amazing in his journey of writing this story, wherein he talks about this man and his time travel, and we will get to the explanation in the later part. As I was telling you, he talks about the mind which is so powerful, and you will also get to see in seconds you can reach the Statue of Liberty or the London Eye in seconds. So in our body there's so many reflexes that happens without even thinking about it. So I'll get back to you with another interesting session related to the chapter. Till then, be glued, study well, and please be punctual.